All right, we are live. I'm going to share the link and then step away for a second. Josh, I will let you take over.
Sounds good. I will pretend that I know what I'm talking about. All right. So, we've got our wonderful race one of season 8 at Laguna Seca. Iconic raceway. We actually had to expand our grid slots this season. Hopefully, we see a full grid tonight. Looking at the registrations, we've got 37 drivers on the grid. They'll slowly trickle in as we get closer to qualifying. These guys are just warming up right now. So some of these guys are just getting used to the car and track conditions. Some of them have done a ton of laps. And it is exciting to be here tonight. We just got an automated track cam running right now while Buggy is away with the dogs. But as soon as he gets back, we will get some of that drone camera action going on. Starting next week, or in 2 weeks, I guess I should say, next race, as long as there is enough. If there's an open slot, Buggy will actually be driving and I will be solo broadcasting. But this week, I've got Buggy alongside me because we managed to fill out our registrations before we even kicked off the first race. I will drop the YouTube link, which I believe Buggy already posted. There it is. Okay. Looks like we've got a couple livery mix-ups here. So let's go. Just sorting out a couple of issues here real quick. So we've got 22 drivers on track already, which is pretty impressive, considering there's still 20 minutes left to practice before the qualifying session starts. Tonight, we will be running a 30-minute qualifying session and a 45-minute race session. There is going to be some weather variance throughout the night tonight, and I'm not sure, but looking at this, it looks like we will drive all the way until dusk. Just looking at the time multiplier on here, it's going to at least transition pretty quickly throughout the day. Looks like the afternoon time will be towards the end of the session. And we are at, we got more drivers joining as this session is going on. Anybody who does not have their livery assigned right now, please let us know and we will get it updated for the next race. Unfortunately, it looks like a couple of them may have gotten missed, but we can get them updated for the upcoming session. Looks like we've got 25 drivers on track now. People just warming up, getting their lap times in.
I am back, and I was going to say, it looks like you beat me to it right on that note to helping out that one racer. I don't see any other problems being reported too, though, so that's looking pretty good for what's going to shape up to be a pretty large grid here.
Yeah, it looks like there's already 26 drivers on the track. So I'm pretty excited for this one. I feel like it's going to be a long race for some of these guys, but I think we're going to have some pretty solid wheel-to-wheel racing, especially on such a short track like Laguna.
That looks a little funky. Let me see if that's the right one. Yes. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, this is certainly going to be an interesting one for us today. We haven't had this big of a grid in a very, very long time. For those who were with us last season, we did have a real amateur racing split, but by the end of the season, we were struggling to get even 10 racers on each grid. So we figured for this season, we're going to go back to large grids, bigger wait list. But we're going to start doing attendance after this week. That way we can get people shuffled in and out of the wait list as planned.
Yeah, definitely. And just to clarify for the guys thinking that we might not have the turnout, well, the reason that we went with that split was actually because the prior season we had such a large wait list. So we were trying to make sure we had room for everybody on the grid, but we ended up just merging down mostly to a single grid anyways by the end of the season. So
yeah, and just looking around, you can see all these cars off to the side on various spots on the track. I think that's pretty good showing for what we have in store for us later on today. Let's take a look around the grid. I did catch a few liveries that I don't think we've seen. So Pogo's got one. And that is a spicy little combo there. I like the purple and the teal. Those teal
Yeah,
rims really bring a pop to it.
yeah, I really like the color combinations. I like the design of that a lot, actually.
Yeah, that looks fantastic. We're going to take a look now over at some of the other guys here. Maybe Rev 174.
We got the Scrub Motorsport, uh, as we saw last season.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice to see him back on the grid. He's been pretty busy for a while, so he's hasn't raced in about a month here.
Yeah. I'm going to let you take back over the broadcast just because I'm going to try and help out a couple of things here that I'm looking at.
Okay. Looks like it cut over to Deadly Daniel, who is currently in a standard Kunos liveries, but one of my favorites. Then we see Pogo's livery again here with that teal and purple design. I really like the inspiration of that. It's got kind of a Japanese cyberpunk-esque look to it that I really, really enjoy. You got Mogo back in his original livery with the Planet Express racer here. And then it looks like Aaron is in one of the original championship Marlboro liveries that Mo put together for us. That Marlboro light pack, as I call it. We got Brett in his Minnesota Wild livery. That's a Cameron Designs commission here. If you haven't seen Cameron's work, then definitely check it out. He's got some very, very good liveries put together for us. We got Speed Bump in his original livery for the season. Good to see that back on the track. He hasn't had a round wheel in a while, so he hasn't driven the Miatas, but it sounds like he finally picked one up again. And we'll see him here on the MX5 grids. Just poking around some of the channels here. So we will take a look at what we're seeing. Let's update a few of these things here. Buggy, are you already in here updating these liveries that got missed? I know sometimes when we're both in here making changes at the same time, sometimes there is some issue. Up 224.
All right, I am back, allegedly for good. You know how these things go, but we'll
Oh
see.
yeah.
I'm sure
Yep.
other people are going to be putting in livery stuff, but other
Yeah,
than
I'm just
there,
updating some of them as they pop through.
oh, there's another one. All right, yeah. If you don't mind handling that, then I will keep the drone cam going here as we get into the final 10 minutes of practice and 10 minutes until the big drawing, which I know is probably the only reason we have as many viewers as we do right now. But we'll milk it. You know, we'll milk it.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
You
you
gotta get
guys just waiting to see if you won. I know why you're
driver
here.
consistency in here.
But taking a look at the grid, so we do see our first dip into the 37s coming out of, it looks like Jump Raven. Even in the private practice sessions, they are the only one to do that so far. We do have time stretching all the way down into the 144s. We're going to say as far as clean times go, that 57 and that, or sorry, that 47 and that 50, I'm thinking are going to change as they get a few more laps under their belt. But man, I don't even see packs forming. I just see one straight continuous grid forming.
Yeah. With how many cars are registered for this race, it's definitely possible that we will see quite literally the entire grid just covered in little dots for this race.
Yeah, and worth noting that what you see on the live timings or on that map on the top right corner is not up to date. That will refresh between sessions, but it won't show you right now. And it looks like we are going to have some shifts in liveries for next week, so you'll really get to see a few more even popping up on the grid. So that's kind of exciting, as we now have still 25 racers with only 8.5 minutes left of practice. That's not too bad.
Yeah, not too bad at all. I'm just generating some codes here real quick for this livery.
Very nice, very nice. I think Wednesday I'm going to be probably skipping out on the race just to set up those attendance channels and everything. That way we can get the signups open back up for this one and the EU grid at the very least, you know. Might have some
Yeah,
surprise
definitely.
racers for these guys joining in for weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I'm hoping that I mean, right now there's already 25 drivers on the grid. We see Max Yang was able to connect and has since disconnected, but I expect to see him back for the race. So I'm really hoping that we can really flush out this grid. There's still 10 minutes until qualifying, and it is a longer qualifying session, so some of the guys might not get in here until closer to that race time start. Some of these guys only need that one or two laps to put their time down.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised. I mean, we do see it's very early on. We're very far from the race temperatures on the track, and these MX5s, they do need a warmer temperature to really make use of that tire. So those guys who are already comfortable with their Laguna times, and many of the guys on the server are going to try and save themselves some fatigue, because this is one long straight race tonight, isn't it? I believe it's a 45.
Yeah, it's a 45 tonight. So,
I think it's a 45 season again, isn't it?
I think so.
Very nice. Well, that'll be exciting. Nice season of pit stops and strategies to keep things entertaining here. All of the rookies along the way will have to pick up some new strategy development skills, which are always fun to see. We see Dancy out on the track in their signature livery. I'm familiar with this one. We've seen that one in season 7, I want to say, is when they popped that one in. So still new.
Yeah, he's been rocking it for a couple seasons now. It's always a fun one to see on the track. The only downside is if he ends up having connection problems, you'll never know because he's the same color as the blinking overlay.
That he is. I think the lights give it away a little bit. And speaking of lights, did I do the thing? Let's see. Were you in the EU race, or
It
did you
is.
watch it?
I was not, but it is set to an 8x time multiplier.
So it shouldn't get that
but
dark.
it starts at 8 a.m. Yeah,
Okay,
so we
so
should be
yeah,
okay.
well, not too shabby. Maybe we'll switch that up for a couple of different ones, but I think for Laguna we can keep it simple. Hunter says
Yeah,
MX5 at Laguna, the memories, absolutely.
yeah. MX5 at Laguna is definitely a classic track. A very very exciting track. One of my favorites.
Who's voting to restart things in my good Christian server? My good Christian Minecraft server.
All right, so I
Age
just
old memes.
EM'd you the codes for the raffle there. I put the
Very
grand
nice.
prize in the other two at 50 and 35, like we discussed. So whoever wins that grand prize is going to get a $50 gift card to our online store for merchandise, and the other two runner-ups here are going to get $35, just as part of our big thank you for giving us this giant community that we've grown.
I really hope whoever wins the grand prize chooses a like a cool custom livery, because we've had so many that have been on the server through the years throughout so many different vehicles. I'm very interested to see what vehicle and livery they choose for that.
Oh yeah, definitely. It'd be there's so many iconic ones that we've seen that just stand out. I mean, whether it's the Planet Express racer from Mogo or uh, some of the LMPs that Cameron has done as well.
Uh,
There's so many cool liveries that we see.
It'd be all would look good at a car. Clutch, I think you misunderstand. No one's getting a custom livery per se. It's a trading card, like a physical one that you get in the mail, that you have a livery on it, like yourself and your stats. There's details in the announcements if you head over to the Discord. It's
I think
relatively.
I think the guys here are requesting a interruption of the transit
I
van on
am
the
gonna
track.
disappoint everybody because I don't even have my wheel plugged in right now.
Oh, I'm in the same boat, so
Yeah, there's
would have
but a
been the same way
stem
if
in
I'm
front of
casting
me.
right now.
If I knew the keybinds off the top of my head, I'd send it for you. As
Oh,
wrong
just
with
turn on
Spike, I don't
that
think I've seen
AI
this
driver
livery
hacks
before.
for us.
I'd say that's a new one.
That is a uh
Is it Gundam, right? Is that what it's
no
called?
no
No?
no no
No? Not good? Should I stop? Am I
no
making
no
it
it's
worse?
fine.
Oh,
This is
okay.
a I believe this is a Gurren Lagann livery.
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said. I mean, I
Uh
did. It just didn't register as words to me, if that makes sense.
yeah, Gurren Lagann was an anime. That icon on the hood,
Mhm.
I believe, is from there.
Very cool. So what's the difference between a Gundam and a Transformer? Someone's gonna
Gundams
be
are
so mad I
piloted
just asked that.
by Gundams are piloted by pilots like humans,
Ah, okay,
and
okay. It's like Pacific
Transformers are,
Rim.
aliens. Yeah.
Perfect. I got Muse memory. Well, you already changed Muse, but it's okay. They're doing what I asked. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I just had to go double check here, but that is definitely a Gurren Lagann livery. So
Nice,
I'm
nice. Was
honestly
that?
I'm kind of pumped because it's a fairly niche anime.
I see, I see. Dino, we'll see, man. I mean, grid's slowly filling. It's gonna be a Z4 season. I think I'm gonna take a peek there, but yeah, it is Z4s left, right, and center. I'm gonna be in the Z4 GT3 season starting week 2, but I'm originally signed up with the Z4, but there's so many of them. I think I'm gonna have to switch. Might do the Audi.
I think you might have to jump into the McLaren and just school these fools.
You know, I don't know. I don't want to be that guy. It really has such a high ceiling. Like I think week 1 would be a disaster. I'd probably be at the back of the grid, but once you find like even like a semblance of a groove in that thing, it fucking flies. It would also come down to C4's your least favorite car. Yep, there you go. Those 2 messages coming in perfect order. Yeah, clutch. That's a very good way to describe it. Very high risk, very high reward for that McLaren. And the Z4 is, I mean, it's never going to be the fastest bell at the ball, but man, that consistency that you can achieve with it is something fierce. It really keeps you way more in the race than you should be a lot of times.
Yeah, that Z4 is a very, very, very friendly car to drive.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard to lose it. Even like its biggest slides, you can still get straight even if you're on the grass. So we have hit overtime. So Josh, I think you know what that means. We're gonna let AutoCam go here for a minute and pop over to the big wheel of fortune. Josh, I will change things so you can see.
I can see it on the.
There you go. We'll
good.
go there. So let me set up a little document so I can write down the names of everybody who gets pulled in order here. We are going to get this bad boy started. So good luck to everybody. Again, thank you for all who participated in the season, for all 3,000 of our members, just for being here for the whole 9. This one is for all the marbles. We're going to start big. Remember, there are 10 drawings, so even if you don't win the grand prize, stick around. You could win something else. But this is the moment that you've all been waiting for. Grand prize goes to, no way. Oh, okay, I was going to say. Looks like Mega Mew. All right, so Mega Mew is going to get that grand prize. Let me go ahead and write that down. And that was off of only 2. That's pretty good. Those are really solid odds. So 2 tickets for those of you guys who didn't see is a 1% chance. So very, very solid win there. So let's go on now to the 2 runner-ups. Remember, there's going to be 2 of these guys. So we'll take our look now at the first one. We're going to start to pick things up a little bit here. It just wants Kia to win. This is ridiculous. All right, so okay. Kia, here you go. You get your the wheel chose you, so you are one of our runner-ups. Kia, probably not even watching the stream. I bet he's in the middle of a race somewhere. Knowing him, surprised he's not in one of these. And our second runner-up goes to Clutch Russ. So 3 guys who have definitely been prevalent names on the grid recently. Mew, a little bit newer, but definitely has been a force since they showed up. And I believe they're in tonight. Yep, it's currently sitting in P21. Yep. And now for the moment that you guys have been waiting a little bit less for, we are going to go through now and pick our iRacing code members. There are going to be 7 additional pulls here, so we're just going to get those kicked off pretty quickly. I'm going to try and get that one all set up to right. And we'll open tickets for all of the winners after the event today to discuss prize and stuff. Of course it's that. He definitely has one already too. So that's going to be useless to him.
Yeah, so we can
should we just review them? We'll ask him. Yeah, if anyone denies it, we'll pull a little bit more from the wheel. I can save it to see kind of who still has options and who doesn't. It's like Tater-oo. I like that it adds in the clapping for us, you know.
Yeah.
Makes it a lot more official.
Vegetoda.
Vegetoda. Journeyman.
Journeyman.
All right. It's a good thing it's still in overtime because we still got a few more of these to go here. Woohoo Man or the Inferno. Ooh, shifts over to the Inferno 37. And we got 2 more left to do here. Petri. Oh, I'm gonna butcher this one, buddy. Petriario. Sure.
It starts with a P, ends with an O. We'll call that a good.
Yep. And last but not least, and just in time for qualifying to start, Tommy Boy. I think that's the Tommy Boy.
That is
Cook himself.
His original account got removed.
All right. So that is going to be it for the grand drawings today. Just to recap, the grand prize went to Mega Mew. We've got Kia Golski and Clutch Russ as our runner-ups. Base Cannon, Tateroo, Vegetoga, Journeyman 4101, the Inferno 37, Petriariaro, and Tommy Boy all get the close call prizes. Again, we're going to be opening up some tickets after the event to distribute all of those. But thank you again for everybody to joining. If any of the winners turn down their prizes, we will be rerunning off of that same wheel just to see who the next in line would be and kind of go from there. But that is the end of the drawing, and we head back to the more important part, the big action for today. All right, I am gonna, there you go. I was like, wow, one drum can't go on. And that is why. So let's jump over to someone who might be, oh, it is gonna be Speed with the first chance, I think. Where is this man? To get a lap in. So let's join in with him and see what kind of a time he can put up.
Swap your stream here.
Oh, yep. That would help you out.
Maybe a little. I mean, I can just talk without saying too. But
yeah, just like guess what's happening, man. All right, there you go.
Ooh, into the hairpin crash.
I mean, that's not too bad. We always love the is there mandatory pit stops question, because no, there's not. But at 250% fuel rate, I'd be pretty surprised if you make it all the way through.
Yeah, definitely. It'll definitely be a one-stopper tonight, I think, at a track like Laguna. Usually on stock, 18 liters of fuel will get you through a 20-minute race. So
that's not too shabby at all. I do see we are at 27 racers on the grid now. So a nice, strong spread as we make it into the 26 minutes remaining portion of quali. Got 28 degrees on the track, 13 km/h headwind down the straightaway. So a lot of time to be found, a lot of change to come between now and the big race. Oh, Bullet is Vegetoda. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay, cool.
Awesome.
So that's Bullet. I feel like Journeyman's got to be somebody too, and I just can't remember who that one is. I think it's funny that when I copied the list over, it automatically changed to the actual Discord handles.
The Journeyman is actually Jump Raven. So.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, oh yeah, so if Jump hasn't been on iRacing, that's definitely one that they should.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You've seen
and
some...
just to clarify, these iRacing codes are thanks to our friend and partner Wyatt at SimShop. He'll send us over a heap of codes every now and then. They are 3 months for a new racer and fully available subscription for 3 months with no strings attached. So
yeah, that I'll always be a fan, you know.
Oh yeah, yeah. Wyatt also helped us hook Buggy up with his thank you gift for all of the hard work and stuff that he's done for us. He cut us some sweet deals and helped me get everything snuck in and set up in time for Buggy to get home.
Yeah, yeah, we're coming up on a year anniversary of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just FYI, the Discord share is still on the Wheel of Names. So
Is it?
yeah.
Huh. I might have to stop and restream then. All right, did that help?
Yep, I
Okay.
can see it now.
All right. Oh, yeah, my end, it was showing a settle. That's funny.
Interesting.
All right. Well, we've got Pogo whipping his way around through Rainy here. We haven't been talking too much about the grid at hand because obviously there's a lot of traffic down. Nobody's really making any waves on hot laps just yet. We do see Seb getting close to that 37 mark, so he is putting down real times. But I don't know if he's going to have the room to really put down the power. Yeah, I mean, look at this.
Going into this corner, I mean, it's going into the corkscrew. We'll see if he can get through cleanly. As long as the cars in front of him get through clean, it should be good. Just for anyone who's a little curious, he had to tap the brakes there. But the track limits on that corkscrew are the curb. Ooh!
As King LB has a little bit of a spin, and Seb suffers from it. I think he managed to keep it on the track, though. This might still be a clean lap for them. I'm looking now as they get closer and closer to the line. And it was.
Looking at tickets.
Oh, that was perfect. They got a 150 there, so they were able to keep the spin on the line. Even if it ain't pretty, it counts. Let's take a look at what seems to be a little bit of a crowd favorite there. I think I saw left sync handle with some fans in the broadcast. Currently in the number 62 Mazda, up in P3. They've only got a 139.12, but that's not going to be where they lie. I think we're going to see some improvements once they weasel their way through the traffic. And that's the tricky part here. There's not a lot of gaps. I see one solid one in front of Fudzy. He might be the only one with a clean run at the moment.
Yeah, and one of the things about those gaps is that they can disappear quick. We saw the chaos in those corners after the corkscrew. It can close off your track real fast. The laps around here are a minute 38 to a minute 40, somewhere in that range. If somebody is 10 seconds ahead of you and they spin and there's contact with another car, they can definitely find their spot with another car and end up in the middle of the track right in front of you.
Yeah, and we've seen it plenty of times before in those late qualifying sessions. We're actually seeing another grouping kind of start to form. I'm trying to get a good peek at which racer that is lining things up. I'm going to say maybe it's Rick Nicholson. Let's take a peek. Yeah, Rick Nicholson there finds himself in front of a large group with open space, and it'll be Rev 174 breaking off to take the most advantage of that space. Behind them, Sam GT3 leading an open gap of his own. So let's check in with Rev and see if he gets lucky. A single car running out of the pits is going to ruin this momentum. But if it doesn't come, the car in front is sitting with a 139.3, so I don't think Relville has to worry about traffic in that regard.
Yeah, and just looking at the gaps, it looks like that gap is still clear in front of him for now. But as mentioned in the chat and it mentioned earlier, a single slide, a single spin can definitely mess that up for you.
Yeah, and you see a large grouping of cars now heading through the final turn. You got to wonder what some of these guys in these bigger packs are looking to do. Do they think they might just be able to break through them eventually, or outweight the group? Maybe they just haven't seen a good time to pull into pits. It's a
We
lot
do
to look at.
see Jump Raven with a purple sector 1, but he is closing up on cars into that corkscrew here.
Oh, and that is a perfect time to point that out. Looks like he's got a little custom Joker livery.
Yep. Personal best sector 2 here. We'll see if he can string it together. It looks like a good one so far, even with that traffic through the corkscrew.
It's just kind of perfect timing for that rear bumper. A little bit of chaos there as Jump Raven makes his way through his first hot lap, but forces his way around cleanly and up to P4, taking it away from left sink handle with a 139.041. Jump Raven, I think we saw do a 137 in the multi-class event the other day.
Yeah, and he had a 137.2, I believe, in the practice session leading up to this. So
yeah, so definitely some improvement to come from the Joker car here in the next 20 minutes. So we got a little bit of time now. Taking a peek at things. I'm also trying to see who else we have joining. I'm still seeing 27 on the grid, which is still set to be one of our bigger season events I think we've ever had as far as racers physically on the track. I'll take a look at some of the guys out in open air.
Hopefully we can get a few more on here tonight.
Yeah, wow. Actually, I just peeked over at the amount of guys who are in the actual voice chat together. It looks like we're going to have some nice, clean comms. Thankfully, I see Fudzy is in there, so at least... Oh, and Brett's in there, so we got 2 staff guys to make sure everybody's keeping things a little bit clean. It might be worth, in between qualifying and the race, just if you want to pop in there, to remind everybody that we have a ticket system. You know, things happen. Don't air your grievances there. Blah, 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 blah.
Yep. I will
we'll get ahead of it
as soon as these guys are done with their laps.
Yeah, let them focus.
Send Brett and Fudzy notes to just make sure that things stay clean throughout the race here.
Yeah. Now we're on currently with Woohoo Man, who's trying to break his way out of this minute and 40-second pack that extends from P11 all the way down to P17. It is a tight pack to be in. And then after that, you got P10 all the way up to P5 in the 139. So still a grid very much sticking together. Not a lot of room for improvement, yet they're finding a way to build back that same scale we saw before. Now, Woohoo Man 43, he is one of our racers that's been around since Season 1. This livery actually was submitted in Season 4 as the Redemption livery following a little bit of a hiatus. And it's appropriate because I don't think Woohoo's been able to participate in a full season in a bit, so a nice way for them to get back. And we do see some of our more seasoned racers warning everybody that they will definitely need to pit at some point for fuel usage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the average fuel rate per lap without the increase is about 1.8, I believe. So if we think about it, 1.8 is a 100-second lap. So 100, go 45 times 60 over 127 laps is what we're looking at. Time for 1.8 is 48.6. Probably... Oh, and then times 2.5. This might even be a 2-stop race tonight. Looks like about 120 liters of fuel to get through the entire race.
I was going to say a large portion of these races do end up being 2 stops. Although there's one racer on the grid who, if anybody can find a way to make it a 1-stop, it's this man from up north, the number 22 car. We've seen him do it in numerous season events, numerous open events. He just has the ability to conserve fuel without sacrificing too much time. And taking a look at his line through here, I know he's trying to avoid, but I also feel like he's trying to practice that fuel usage a little bit, as the track now kicks up to 30 degrees Celsius and now an 18-kilometer-an-hour tailwind down the main straightaway. So that could actually change these lap times up pretty significantly, as they have a headwind throughout this section in towards the corkscrew.
Yeah, and it'll actually change the balance of the car a little bit going into that braking zone as well. I did reach out to Brett. He's going to make sure that if things get a little crazy in there, that we do have to let them know that we do have a ticketing system and to keep things simple in the voice chat tonight.
Very nice.
But one thing to note here is Speed Bump is the first man on track right now to break into those 137s.
Oh, wow. We did miss that one there. I didn't even notice that he had the sort of gap to be able to take that kind of an attempt. We're going to jump over to M Black. Unfortunately, not in the position to get a strong lap off here. Dancy not going to be able to pull one off either. We are just trying to look at guys who have a clean stretch of space right now. I don't think we're going to see one there either. Wow. A lot of these guys with the open space are not able to capitalize on it, with the exception of Nate Plode. So Nate just looking to get his clean one in, and we'll see what he can do in the Arizona Racer. Another one of my favorite liveries that I have no idea when it got added to the server or where it came from.
Yeah, it's been around for a long time. I'm not entirely sure who ran that initially.
Yeah, I mean, without question, this has to be something that came from like race department or something like that back in the day, because we did not have any cam design level liveries in the early seasons, but this has been around since then.
It looks like Steb has hit a purple sector 1 and has a little bit of clean air going through the corkscrew, as long as he doesn't end up with that other car here.
Yeah, and he might have botched it a little bit somewhere in sector 2, as he's a second off of his time.
Looks like there's a track cut in there with a 33-second sector 2, which is about a second off the normal pace there.
So that would explain it. We'll see if he's trying to get around traffic, but this actually looks like a half-decent stretch here for Seb. Now, my concern are the 2 cars coming out of pits. The pace at which they're able to get out will definitely affect what Seb's able to pull off here. But they are on outlap, so if there's a little bit of courteousness going on, Seb might be able to still get through this traffic with some pace and recreate what they had going earlier. But while Seb tries to make that lap appear, we'll jump over to a lap in progress. Jump Raven over half a second up on that 138. Looks to be throwing down the gauntlet and accepting that challenge from Speed, as they've only got a few corners left.
Looks like right now, as long as he doesn't run into the car in front of him there, it looks like that is Daniel. Looks like he's got an easy clear of Speed's time here. He's up almost a full second. And climbing down that final straight with the tailwind and the toe. He is down to a 137.2 without an improvement in sector 2. That is a purple sector 1 and a purple sector 3 though.
Yeah, that is one hell of a lap time. I almost thought we were going to see that 36 for a minute. And I'm starting to think that maybe if him and Speed get out in front of this group together, we could see that through a little bit of bump drafting here, which would be, I think, one of the fastest laps that we've had on the server, probably. Unless Parmesan's put up a 35, which would be possible.
I know Parmesan's put up about mid 36s historically on our track. And with that, I might as well go consult Potato and see what our track record is for the MX5s at Laguna.
Oh, that's right. We have that power now. Just courtesy of Potato himself. He's designed quite the bot here in our Discord for you guys who have raced with us. If you haven't used it, you got your stats now from I don't even know how many seasons. I think he went all the way back to like season 1, season 2?
Yeah, we pulled the full dump from the original servers when we spun this up. So he's
Yeah.
got all of the result files from the original servers. It looks
Yeah.
like our fastest time at the non-OSRW version was a 1:37.3, but we've used primarily the OSRW version for the extended grid slots. The MX5 best lap that we have is only a 1:36.8 on the server itself.
All right, so Jump Raven definitely looking at coming for the Real Rookie Racing lap record today. Only 4/10 off, and definitely has the potential to do so, as the track's only going to get a little bit warmer, and those tires are going to get a little bit more comfortable once the race kicks off. Now, the big problem is going to be the length of the race. They've got a long way to go and that full tank of fuel. So by the time that they get into a qualifying weight ratio, those tires might actually have a little bit of wear on them.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I seem to recall from when Jump Raven first started racing with us was he managed to stretch out one of our 45-minute races into a no stop while maintaining the pace as well. So he might give Seb a run for his money on a fuel saving strategy to avoid that extra pit.
Yeah, I mean, when you're half a second up on the grid, you can easily let go of a second on your pace and make that all that back up in a final moment. So whatever they're doing it well. And it's certainly going to be something that those guys have to watch out for. I mean, are you keeping an eye on this spread, though? I know I've mentioned it a few times, but this is absolutely outstanding. There is no wiggle room anywhere on the board. Shaving off only a couple hundredths will still move you up a position in some spots.
Yeah. I mean, all the way down, it looks like the gaps here. 7/10, less than a tenth, 4/10, 3/10, less than a tenth, 2/10, less than a tenth. There is some very, very tight times on the board right now.
Yeah, this is absolutely incredible to see, just all of these guys. I mean, obviously not working together, but surviving together is really the astounding part. They're doing a very good job of giving each other space for the qualifying session. We haven't seen the live timings exploding, so I can't say I'm too upset with the way things are going here.
No, I'm very impressed and very happy with how things are going so far. We do see some collisions happening, but mostly with environment. I don't see too many driver-on-driver collisions. I do expect to see a little bit of bump drafting at some point down these longer straights to keep these packs tight.
Look at this man, not a care in the world, just cruising through there. Oh my God, the finesse. Jump Raven really is on another planet right now, and he's 3 seconds off his pace, so fun to watch.
Practicing traffic management at this point.
Nice little maneuver from him there. Let's see if this is who I think it is. Oop, it is not. Where is, I think that's going to be Dancy. Yeah. Trying to work his way through. Oh, also not on a clean lap. Sometimes this live timing lies to us, guys. So we're trying to get you guys some good laps here, trying to see who is on a heater. But we can only work with the information we are given. Let's take a look now, though. I see Scrub has some potential. And with the 139, it's going to be hard to shave off a second in Sector 3, but they're going to try, and we'll see if this number 26 car can. They've already found about a half around turn 9, and they continue to keep up that pace through 10, but a little bit of run-in with the sand will cost them the momentum. So Scrub will turn in to try and get another clean one. Only 6 minutes remaining of qualifying. I mean, at this stage, do we have any early predictions here?
I mean, looking at the race right now, the run down into T1 is going to be crazy. Those front runners with the cold tires off the start are going to have to be extra careful, even if they get a good launch, because it's Laguna. People go bowling into T1, or technically T2, right? That end dirty hairpin. Almost every single race. though. It's really going to be at the start whoever gets away clean here.
Yeah, I mean, that bowling is definitely our favorite thing to watch here outside of racing. I mean, we see it in almost every event that we do, so definitely understandable that that would be the main area of concern, is just who survives it.
Yeah. And it's something that I've always said, um, and always said, because I haven't been a strong qualifier, but I've been a fairly strong finisher. It's not about, you know, getting ahead at the beginning, especially in these long 45 minutes races. It's about avoiding the chaos and maintaining consistency. If you're putting up a 140 and the guys in front of you are putting up 139s, just keep your head down. Those 140s over the course of the entire race are going to be at least 15 seconds less of spins. So
Yeah, I mean, we have P8 all the way to P16, including Deadly Daniel, including Fudzy in the Canada Post, all within a second of each other. So these crowd favorites are all showing up, showing out, and ready to battle each other. Actually, Daniel and Fudzy are now next to each other in the timings. I don't know if they were when I started looking at that. And I left Sync Handle, I believe, also has some friends in the chat. So it seems like if you've got somebody you're rooting for, you're in this 39 pack right now, battling it out for, well, I want to say P8, but then P9's not that far ahead. And once you're at P9, you might as well go, or sorry, P7, and you might as well go to P6. You might as well go to 5. It's really not that far away from 4. And I think you see where I'm going with this, Josh. Like at this point, yeah, anybody could win.
Yeah, I mean, the only people that I see being able to really kind of run away with the front here are probably those top 5, just based on their history of consistency. Dancy's not out of the running either. Rev's not out of the running. It's honestly one of those races where I'm excited to watch this. This is gonna be wild.
Yeah, and with a 45-minute one, even if you do get caught in that early chaos, there is a lot of time to work your way back. The big thing that these racers have to remember is it's a long race. Just because you got spun doesn't mean you have to go for every late break and make up all your opportunity right away. You need to get through the grid clean. That's your only chance to make your way back to the top. Is once you have a spin, don't let there be another silly one. Small ones are fine, but you cannot be involved in a second major contact, or that's where the battle really starts to get tough.
Yeah, and it looks like we're probably settled in here with our 27 racers for the night. I don't know if we're gonna get a late entry from Parmesan or somebody like that, but we have 27 drivers on the grid tonight out of the 37 that are registered. I'm sure a couple people have notified us that they were going to be missing this first race, but it's an exciting time for Real Rookie Racing and Techly Racing to just see these full grids again like we used to have.
Yeah, Dancy putting on an absolute show right now. Holding this pace could mean wonders for their starting grid position. They are one solid corner away from creeping into that top 3.
Oh, what an exit.
My God. That is phenomenal. I think it's going to be a front row start for Dancy as they jump with a 137.7. That is phenomenal. Having a purple sector 1 and then 2 personal bests in sectors 2 and 3. Speed bump not currently in the middle of a clean lap, but let's jump over and see how they fare. This is going to be their only chance to respond and try and get that position back.
It looks like he's up a 10th already in his first sector here.
And just about a 10th is all he needs. He doesn't need to get too creative with it. All that matters is one strong finish.
Yeah, it looks like
and a little bit of consistency.
100 to get back ahead of Dancy on this front row.
All right, so definitely something that's a little bit doable. He did struggle there with his entrance in towards the uphill. We'll see if he can make something happen through Sector 3.
Looks like he is slowly drifting away from his best time here, but we'll see if he can get another clean one in after this. I'm just keeping an eye on the timings board here to see who is currently up on their best delta.
Yeah, I mean, I think at this stage in the overtime, we can jump over to the auto cam a little bit. They do a decent job of trying to keep with. See, I was going to say people who are up, including Potatoes for Life, showing some big improvement early on in the lap here. Improvement like this could definitely land them in that major battle we were talking about earlier among the 39s. So they just need to keep that consistent.
The live timings, which it could be wrong, but according to my live timings, Jump Raven is up 0.4 of a second.
I do see that, but it was an orange Sector 1, which is very interesting, and Sector 2. I'm going to say that that's not 100% accurate.
No, I'm going to refresh. I mean, it's showing the same.
It's pretty consistent.
I'm curious to see what comes of this one. On 132.2, he's only 0.4 off the Real Rookie Racing best lap ever at Laguna Seca in the MX5s. And he got a personal best Sector 3 and a 137.275, so a little bit off of his best time.
All right, I was going to say.
Looks like we are wrapped up on qualifying. We're starting to see the checkered flags roll out, which is going to give us our final grid for the event here.
Got one hell.
Check on my kids here quick, and I will be right back.
Absolutely. That is one hell of a starting order. Only Max Yang left to finish up his lap, and Grealish as well. I think Max Yang is probably going to just take this one, as he's got about 7 seconds left to go. Megamu says they were finding another 5 to 8 tenths, just wasn't able to lock it in. So that would put them into that 140 pack, which is close enough to join up with that rest one. So like we said, that grid today is definitely going to be close together. It's going to come down to consistency and pit strategy. I think anyone who finds a way to conserve without losing too much time and make the one stop a viable option is in a sweet spot. But you have to consider it is a gamble. If you waste all that time and you still need to take a second stop, you haven't really done yourself any good. This grid is going to be exciting to watch. Once we get to about turn 3 or 4, you're going to hear me say, oh God, oh Jesus. That's in that order, I believe, is roughly usually how it goes. Just in pure reaction to some of the chaos we see on this grid. But Max Yang trying to sneak one in under the radar. A last second lap here. Oh, and he gets cut off on a heater at the corkscrew. That will wrap up our qualifying session and lock us in to 27 racers on tonight's grid. One of the largest ones we've had, like we've said a few times now, and it will be exciting. We can see just the first little taste of some of these custom liveries. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more that are going to be fixed up for next week, and we will go from there. So take a good look at the showcase for now. You can see a couple Kunos ones that are probably going to get swapped out, and we'll go from there. Ooh, Mary Mother Joseph, what a crash. I'm going to have to remember that one. I like that. We'll throw a few more, classic old-timey sayings in there for sure. So you're doubling up on the DLRT liveries. That was probably my fault. We got Rev 174 in the Scrub Daddy Racer, Fudzy in the Post, Season 8 Hype Train going from... Wow, we still got cars coming. We got the Mogul Racer back here. We got Speed Bump back here. Kirchu. And we got the Marlboro Mo, which that one I know is going to get sorted out. And then Facundo in the 74 Sonax. I gotta say, I kind of like this thing. There's something about it. I know the stripes don't fully line up, but for some reason, I kind of like it better with them just slightly off like that. There's something about it. It really is the grid that never ends, but it is the race that has to start. 60 seconds now till the countdown. The sun has reset at that 8 a.m., so we'll end somewhere probably around noon. From top to bottom, your grid: Jump Raven, Dancy, Speed Bump, Seb Bellew, Mogo, Brett Anderson, Rev174, Pausch, Woohoo Man, Max Yang, Left Sync Handle, Pogo, Sam GT3, Scrub, Fudzy, Deadly Daniel, Aaron K, Wacy, Potatoes, Megamuse, Spike, Facundo, Nate Plode, Rick Nicholson, King LB, Black 77, and Grealish, all lined up and ready to go. Someone messed up their setup and forgot the traction control, but at this stage in the race, you better hope you have a keybind for it, because it is lights on. Season 8 is ready to go, and we take it all down to turn 1. Looks like Speed Bump off to a rough start there. Maybe didn't have the lights or something, but finds himself getting a little bit sandwiched, has to back out, now drops all the way down to P8 as we see a little bit of bumping and grinding in the back, but no true chaos. This is where we really worry about all of the racers coming together.
So far clean. You got some 3 wide going on here. Honestly, that's pretty impressive for a rookie grid.
Yeah, that's significantly better and cleaner than I was expecting. It looks like so far we have only 2 small doses of chaos, but everybody manages to keep it clean and keep it together as we see Jump Raven out in front, and we'll jump up to our leaders of the pack. This is probably the first time that we've been able to just tune into that. Oh, and it's a good thing we did, as we see Mogo gets caught up, unfortunately, as a casualty. Mogo will now be one of our first racers to have to rejoin in a dangerous spot. And speaking of dangerous spots, let's tune in for a second and see how the grid makes it through one of the fastest corners and tightest lines of the track. Yeah, and it looks like they handle it with some ease.
Turn 6 is flat, so it's pretty important to get that one right. We do have a little bit of chaos here.
Yeah, that's going to be Max Yang, who gets a little bit of contact with Left Sync Handle, goes for a rejoin at a very interesting spot, but manages to at least keep it somewhat clean and keep moving. And I think at this point now, the grid has split up enough to where we're going to start to watch some action. So Mogo looks to be the one to want to give us that first passing opportunity, and he goes for a big one. A very high-speed pass around the outside there. We saw someone spun around. I think that was going to be Posh, maybe, as they try and get moving. And we see a few more racers in some interesting positions. We're going to jump forward, though. I was going to say, because I noticed a little side-by-side up ahead, Left Sync Handle trying to get by with Spike around them. This is that 38 pack that we knew was going to form early on. We'll jump on with Woohoo Man for a moment, who's trying to keep things clean with, I want to say that's Max Yang behind. And you can take a look at this big battle for P7.
Yeah, looks like Pogo's right behind him in that new livery.
Ah, it's Pogo. There you go.
Yep, and then Left Sync Handle right behind that, and Spike behind that. This pack is tight. This is going to be some close racing.
And speaking of close racing, I was going to say a little side by side.
See who's brave? Looks like Rev keeps his foot in, and Seb concedes the overtake, at least for now.
And that's definitely going to help Rev out a little bit. Getting that gap going before the corkscrew gives himself a little bit of breathing space. And you can see those times start to pick up on the live timings board for our lead cars. They're putting up some very high-speed sector 2s and 3s now that the grid is dropping away. Fudzy gets a little bit of a shunt there and goes off the track. Actually goes off the track to avoid a shunt, as we don't see any collision markers on the live timings. We do hear someone going off there. That's going to be Spike, who's now in danger of Mogo, who's really been carving his way through this grid.
Wide. Yeah, 3 wide in the last corner. We knew Moga would fight his way back up to the top, though. He is one of the faster, more consistent drivers on the grid. He's been around with us for a long time. So he's definitely one of those elbows out type of racers, and he will fight you for that position.
And speaking of elbows out racers, Deadly Daniel is one we've definitely seen put up some incredible lap times over on the GT3 end of things. I'm pretty sure we'll see that time start to connect slowly here on the MX5 as they were in that 38 squad during qualifying. I have no doubts that they're going to find their way into that, maybe even the low 38s
Yeah, as we
by the end of
see
the race.
a little bit of curb taken there, it leads to a spin.
As all of the racers trying to get around that off-pace car of Wasey now managed to get by cleanly, but that will cost them a little bit of speed and let Wasey stay in the mix. We're going to jump to an interesting moment here. Left sync handle and Woohoo going for that same moment we saw with Rev and Seb, and once again, it only works out for one of them. So it really is a gamble, and you need to be on that outside, it seems like, to really
Yeah,
have any semblance of a chance.
in order to pull off the inside line there, you definitely need to be late on the brakes and brave, and trust the compression of the front suspension through that corner.
Which is really tough to do if you haven't already been hammering these cars on the line. But Mogo picking up another position here to left sync handle, now inside the top 10, sitting at P9. We're going to jump a little bit further up, though. Rev 174 looking for a pass on Seb Bellew, who not too long ago was looking for a chance at a podium spot. So will he be able to get through? It looks like Speed Bump has made his way by both of them, so this battle is definitely costing them time and positions, as Seb can't seem to find a way by.
That inside curve that we see people keep clipping is dangerous, and it's actually allowing Brett to catch up here to the fight as well.
Yeah,
Saw him earlier about a second and a half back. He's down within a second of these guys.
yeah, he's definitely getting closer and closer. Speaking of close, we've actually got another close pack not too far behind these guys. Sam, left sync handle, and Woohoo in a little battle of their own for P9. Eyes on P8, very close in front of them. And Fudzy just behind them in the mirror of Sam. We're going to stick with Sam's onboard, though, just to see exactly what happens. And it looks like Sam actually ends up a little bit off pace. So we'll jump back just a moment and see how this other battle's going for P20. There's a lot happening along the grid. Keep in mind that eventually these guys are going to be split up into classes. So right now they don't know who they're competing with. They're just all battling for position, which is honestly better. We're getting some really nice wheel-to-wheel action in on it. Eventually, we'll see where those classes come into play, but right now it is anybody's game to prove where they should be and who they should be racing alongside of.
Yeah, right now everybody's fighting to solidify their position in the tier list. We'll go all the way from rookies up to our expert class here. The expert class is pretty limited. You have to show consistency and a way above average pace. Historically, Jumper even was in our pro class last season, but with the show he put on last season and the performance he's put on so far today, I wouldn't be surprised if he is one of the ones that ends up in our expert class against the likes of Parmesan.
Ooh, and a big dive from Potatoes for Life goes in on the inside to try and take the position away from not only Wasey but Max Yang. Has to back off a little bit to let Max Yang through, but will hang on to P22. He's going to probably try to look to line one more of those up in towards these high-speed corners. And look at that, another one trying to get around the outside as these guys try and cling tight. He'll have to pick someone to get behind, and it looks like Potatoes is going to try and take off with, I was going to say Max Yang. Heard a little bit of running with the sand, so that'll be Wasey or Rick losing a little bit of time, but we'll jump ahead as Fudzy seems to have gone off the track slightly, allowing Aaron K to get a little closer. Oh, and I think a little bit of heat in the tires makes that corkscrew a deadly one. We'll jump a little further up to Post, though, and try and join this pack battling it out for P12.
Yeah, I mean, we said it going into this with the qualifying times we saw put up. We were expecting a lot of close battles. It's going to be a lot to keep up with, and I'm sure there's going to be some decent highlight reels that are coming out of this one.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be one we want to double check on. Looks like there's a little bit of contact there between Pogo and Mogo, and Pogo is going to be the one to take the brunt of the force. Now has left sync handle nipping at the heels as Pogo tries to climb back up 3 seconds to get back to that battle inside, deeper inside the top 10, I should say, because left sync handle is still holding out the edge. Seb Bellew, though, seems to be looking down the barrel of a new racer. That's Brett Anderson in P4.
Yeah, it looks like Brett made his way past. There is quite a bit of space right now between Brett and Speed Bump and Dancy. But Dancy is staying within striking distance of Jump Raven in P1 still at this point.
And they are starting to get closer and closer to the lap traffic portion of the event, as well as the first couple waves of pits. So we'll have to see where that shapes up. Seb getting closer and closer. Needs to make a move soon if he's gonna, though, because I'm seeing all sorts of moves. It looks like, I believe there was some contact somewhere along the grid here, because we see cars going all sorts of different speeds, as we see a little bit of a dive there from Mega Mew trying to get back into the hunt after I believe they got caught up in some of that chaos. We'll jump a little bit further back to what seems to be a 3-wide moment heading into the corkscrew. Do they all come out alive? They do, and Max Yang gets to join them as a result of their cautious hesitation. Oh, and Max cuts it inside a little too early. Ends up making contact with Wasey and both racers on the back foot, trying to get back into the fight. Left sync handle now trying to chase down Pogo, or still trying to chase down Pogo through turn 3. We are on our 7th lap of the event, so these guys are definitely starting to settle into their consistent laps. We're getting a better sense of where their pace really lies. Worth noting, though, like Dancy with the fastest lap of the evening.
Yeah, and it also looks like Mogo is closing in on Rev. The current best lap time, he's got about a 1.5 seconds on Rev. So I would expect to see some strikes here from Mogo in the next lap or two.
Yeah, definitely want to tune over to that. Looks like Aaron K, though, is going to try and wrestle this position away from Spike. Going for a little bit of a push to the inside. I think he's seen how this move has worked for some of the other racers, but this time it's the inside that becomes, oh, and through goes Fuzzy. Comes out of nowhere. A beautiful moment from the Canadian post racer. But he gets by these two, caught up in their own battle, and uses that extra boost of momentum up the hill to just cut the gap and cut his way into P13. We'll now jump over to that battle that you wanted to watch. We got Mogo and Rev174 patiently waited for us to get that moment as they go side by side down the straightaway into the Andretti hairpin. And we see a car exiting pits. It's going to be Grealish on the blue flag, so hopefully he'll just let racers go through. It does seem like he's not eager to get involved in that fight. Maybe just catch a tow.
Yeah, we have seen Nate and Grealish both went in for a pit already, Nate and Dan. So I'm wondering if they went for a short stint for their starter stint, or they're splitting it into 315s here.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, this is most likely going to be a 2-stop for the majority of the racers, so I wouldn't be surprised if we do see guys going in for that first pit in over the course of the next 5 minutes, the next 2 or 3 laps, if they're committed to that 2-stop strategy. I mean, if it were me, I would definitely plan for that. I would try and come in around honestly, I'd do a full tank and a full tank and see how far I make it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, with these cars, you don't gain too much by running that lower fuel count, but I definitely do see the advantage for some of these guys who have done more practice with hot lapping stints or more practice with that 20 liter of fuel load. But based on my math earlier, it is looking like it's going to be closer to 100 to 120 liters to finish the race without fuel saving. Uh, we have talked about it earlier, and we do expect quite a few of the guys here who have a history of being able to save fuel to do so and potentially stretch this into a one-stop for them.
And every time I try and peel away from these guys, Deadly Daniel gets a little bit closer. He's really trying to wrestle this P14 position away from Spike. And it looks like he's going to get a nice long straightaway chance to do so. He will find himself on that inside track. So he's going to have to make use of a late braking opportunity. And it'll all come down to this corner. If he gets enough acceleration out of it, this could be the advantage he was looking for to try and take away the position and get away with some ease. I do see Woohoo Man might have had a little bit of a spin as Fudzy goes by through turn 4. And looks like he's going by with some pace. So the Canadian Post Racer picking up P12 in the mix. And the charge continues now within 5 seconds of Pausch and the Aerosol Racer ahead. And once you get to Pausch, you're only 8 seconds away from a 3-way battle for P8. And once you get to that 3-way battle for P8, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, looking at the gaps here, we do see Black has dropped into the pits here as well. Looks like he's taking his first stop with that 30-minute mark. If he's splitting it into that 3 15-minute sections, we see Facundo also dipping into the pits on this lap.
Yeah, so it looks like the backpack of the grid is going to go for a little bit of an alternative strategy here. We do see the majority of them have started to go in for their pits earlier on than we typically would have expected. So we'll see what some of these front runners do. We've yet to see even anybody in the mid-pack peel in for an alternative strategy. So I find that pretty interesting as Scrub tries to line up the run on Spike one more time. Spike, having seen this move from Deadly Daniel, is going to protect that inside line a little bit more. But no, peels to the outside again. And will allow for the undercut, this time from Scrub 224.
Yeah, based on my math, these front runners here have only a lap or two of fuel left before they're going to need to come into the pits. They might be able to stretch 1, maybe 2 extra laps out of that with some solid fuel saving. And with Jump Raven and Dancy and even Speed Bump not being under the pressure that some of these other guys are, I would expect that some of these guys are fuel saving to the point that they might be able to stretch this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm very curious to see what those gaps are looking like. I mean, Jump Raven with a 138.9 on that last lap, but did have to make their way through a little bit of traffic, which Speed Bump just did as well. After this point, they're going to get a nice large gap, but honestly, on the pace Jump Raven's going, they're going to eventually hit the massive pack, depending on where they all come out for pits. And that might be what Jump's waiting for. Jump might be trying to take as much advantage of the clean air as possible before that big rush to pits comes in.
Yeah, and we do see, it looks like Speed Bump might have gotten through traffic a little cleaner than Dancy there, as that gap is closed down to 1.8 seconds to the front of the back there. We do see Aaron looking for his move on Wasey, coming through the corkscrew, but looks like Wasey gets a little bit better of an exit and separates himself from the attacking car here.
Yeah, that was going to be the opportunity, but thankfully it looks like he'll get one more as Wasey has a little bit of a run-in with the dirt, but Aaron gets a little bit too excited for the chance, goes deep on the brakes, and Wasey will break away just a little bit. Curious to see what happened there. It looks like Sam GT3 may have gone off, giving Fudzy yet another position. The Canadian Postman working his way into P11. This one going to be a tougher one to pick up, though. Sam back on the pace already. Not going to be happy to have given up 2 spots there, as Pausch was able to pick up a spot in that mix as well. We do also have Woohoo Man now only 1.2 seconds back. So this is a lot of pressure on Mrs. Puff's boating school to perform here.
I am seeing
It's,
some of these slower cars are lifting into that turn 6, which is probably part of the major pace discrepancy that we're seeing between these front runners and this more uh, middle of the pack range here. That lift going up that hill actually loses you quite a bit of time going up into that corkscrew.
yeah, it's a big commitment, but you got to find the angle that lets you be flat through there and just hammer through, use the complete edges of the track to work your way by. But you can have some really, really solid pace. I mean, yeah, you're talking about a difference of at least a second if you're not hitting that at full speed.
Yeah, we saw earlier. We saw Megamu actually come parting the seas between two cars through that turn 6 exit. Just because if you take that flat, you can carry so much more speed.
Yeah, now I am going to jump over to Jump Raven as they are in open air coming to the end of 12 laps. And I just want to see what they think about doing here. And it looks like they're going to stay out for another one. So no worries about their fuel usage on their end. Closest battle still goes between Wasey and Spike at the moment. Sam has fallen back a little bit from Fudzy, giving him a little bit of space. As I say that, though, left sync handle starts a little bit of a charge on Pogo. So we'll keep an eye on that and jump over if they closen up a little bit. But right now, Wasey looking for the opportunity on Spike. They're coming up on a couple of lap cars, and Spike unfortunately tries to go around a little bit too early and will get passed by Wasey in the mix. We jump now to this number 62 car, working his way around to start lap 13 and finds himself in the draft of Pogo ahead. So might not be enough to get side by side, but might be enough for at least a deep braking opportunity. And wait a minute, that's going to be Fudzy, our first racer in the mid pack to go into the pits. So we're definitely going to want to see where Fudzy comes out. I'm keeping an eye on some of these other battles on the track, but this is the big one. So Fudzy was going up to P11. And where do they come out? You see two cars coming out at the bottom end of the pits there. That's going to be Megamu and then M Black, who is a lap down. Fudzy with some serious pace, though. Looks like he might actually make it around turn 1 before Megamu. And that's not a bad spot to be in at all.
Yeah, definitely. And it looks like Jump Raven's even going around another lap here without pitting. So he's definitely doing some fuel saving. I've been watching his gears going through some of these corners. He is definitely short shifting and taking some of these gears higher than you would expect, leading to the lower fuel consumption going through these corners.
Yeah, and it looks like we've got Dancy and Speed Bump. We're not able or not willing to take that risk of pushing it one more. Seb Bellew and Brett Anderson, on the other hand, are going to keep going. So this is where things start to get interesting now. The whole grid is going to shuffle, and we'll see if this undercut strategy pays off for anybody on the grid. Now, the thing is, this is going to mess up everybody's calculations as far as where the gaps on the grids are and where they're going to come out. So we'll see where that goes. I think we actually have Spike on the side of the grid, so we're going to watch and see where that rejoin comes into play. Not sure exactly the other car caught in the mix. Looks like King LB. But we'll jump over to Sam GT3, still working his way through the pits as he's got Scrub and Fudzy coming by. So the undercut does at least work to keep Sam GT3 at bay. Actually, Sam ends up pretty far at bay, so I think the undercut actually worked out pretty well for Fudzy, if I'm looking at this correctly. The big test will be Posh when they come in for the pits to see where they end up overall.
Yeah, and we do see Jump Raven is going into the pits. So he managed to stretch 14 laps out of that fuel tank. I wouldn't be surprised if he is coasting into his pit box with no fuel left.
Well, there's a few other racers that are going to be following in his footsteps if that's the case, as we see a bunch of guys going for that attempt at the 14 laps. Now that does take them over the halfway point, or over the presumed halfway point, even with a full lap of overtime. So that is the one advantage that those guys are getting, is it looks like they don't have to do any sort of fuel consumption to get it to the end, if that, is their pace. So Pausch now coming in. This is going to be one of the racers we wanted to watch and see where they come out on the track.
Has Mogo pit already? It doesn't look like Mogo's pit. And
Mogo did.
Oh, he did pit.
Yeah. Mogo pit last lap.
He's still out on track here, so looks like there is some shuffle. It looks like that overcut has been beneficial to both Seb and Brett, getting them ahead of speed bump.
Yeah, the speed bump now has 1.6 seconds to clear to them, so that overcut strategy definitely worked. It is a shorter, it is a shorter pit stop when you have a whole lap less of fuel to put into the car, so that does save you a little bit of time. Not a second's worth of time, but maybe there is a little bit of incident as well. So Pausch comes out behind Fudzy. This is what you guys were looking for. So Fudzy does go up to P10 with the undercut strategy, so it seems to be a healthy mix as to who it worked out for and who it did not. The pace had to be earned, which it looks like the Canadian postcard did. Now 2 seconds ahead of Pausch in P10 with 4.1 seconds to go, trying to catch up to Rev 174. Pogo now trying to close down the left sink handle in the battle for P7. I think this is one to try and get the position back following a change in pit strategy. Left sink handle was able to take advantage of the overcut. Look at those gaps up top. 10 seconds between Dance and Jump, 15 seconds between Seb and Dance. And speed bump starting to close in. Pogo losing a little bit of speed and advantage there. Not going to be able to make the move. Oh, is Fudzy getting caught up in traffic? So Pausch going to go for the dive and does end up pushing Rick Nicholson off the track. Fudzy, though, not going to want to give up that position easily. Going to tuck in for the draft and try and get that P10 back. He's going to look for the outside move around the hairpin. We've seen this before. You typically want to be on that inside or go for some sort of a switchback. It'll be the switchback attempt from the 19 car. As Fudzy hanging on to the back bumper of that aerosol racer, not able to make the move just yet. Gonna have to continue to try and line things up. We're keeping an eye around the grid. Speed bump is getting closer and closer to Brett Anderson. Eventually, we are going to want to check in, because if he gets by, that's a big hunt for the final podium spot over these last 20 minutes to get to Seb Bellew, who's been holding some pretty consistent lap times.
Yeah, and we do see Jump Raven is putting up those 137s, even with what's anticipated to be a fuel-saving strategy here.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, he might be just hammering all out, seeing how far he made it after fuel saving the first time around. By the time he left the pits, it's about the 20-minute mark. Oh, we're going to have to jump over, though, because it looks like we've got the three-man battle for the final, or for P4 at the moment, as Brett Anderson backs out a little bit, and Mogo looks to get by both through one corner, and he does. That Plantic Express racer leading nose through turn 2, but speed bump going to try and cut the inside around 3. Won't have the acceleration to keep the pace on the 74 car, and will now have Brett hitching along for the ride as they both try and catch up to the Mazda in front. These guys are going to have to do something interesting with the corkscrew, because that is where all of this drafting is going to finally come together. They do have lap traffic in front. They're going to have to be careful to get around, and it's coming at a peculiar time for some of them. Mogo seems intent on getting ahead of it by turn 6, and so does Speed. but manages to do so cleanly. Speed, it seems, didn't have to hesitate anywhere near as much as that 74 car, and will be able to pull a nose in before the corkscrew, and that late braking opportunity does present itself once more. Oh, and a little bit of a nudge there sends Speed into the sand. Speed does get back on track and get moving, but we'll have to regroup to set up a new effort, as Brett Anderson, the
Yep.
one now looking to fight back the Planet Express.
Yeah, unfortunately, Mogo didn't really have anywhere to go. We don't just drifted a little bit wide there, and there was a little bit of contact, and looks like Speed Bump got the worst of it. Um, one thing to note is these guys have all been on our grid since basically the beginning here, so they are very familiar with each other.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely know it's going to be hard racing, elbows out, no easy passes when, especially if the other guy knows that it's someone they've raced with before. You get a little bit more comfortable with your buddies, so to speak. I use that word loosely, but that is kind of where we see some of these rubbing incidents. I'm picking my wording carefully. Potatoes for life, trying to line up a shot on Megamew in P17. It's going to be the 55 car looking at the 58 here through the corkscrew. Does get a little bit closer, but doesn't seem to have the pace to catch themselves into any draft just yet. Woohoo Man looking to get into the same type of range up a little bit further ahead on Sam GT3, but Potatoes' opportunity will present itself a little earlier, and they will finish off lap 18 in P17. Man, these guys are hammering some out here.
Yeah, this is a lot of close races going on. Unfortunately, we can't catch it all. We don't really have a live replay feature that allows us to go back and review things live. But maybe in the future we'll have a second broadcaster screen available for those live replay incidents as well.
That's definitely the hope long term. I do know that we can get some onboard stuff through the new CMRT broadcast. We just haven't gotten a chance to really test it. But coming down the pipeline right now, we have Fudzy trying to fight his way back into the P10 battle. First, he's got to get his way through this fight for P11 with Woohoo Man and Sam GT3. These guys have all been staying pretty close together for, I'd say, the entire 30 minutes we've been watching them, as we have not too much longer to go. This is where that fatigue starts to set in. Oh, speaking of.
Definitely. As we see, Woohoo probably held his brakes a little deep there and just ended up locking up a little bit and sending the car a little sideways, letting Fudzy through into P12 at this time.
Yeah, definitely something that they're going to try and get back quick. You can see they're already in that drafting range, so it's going to be a continuous battle between these two until someone makes a big mistake, even a medium one, but it's got to be a little bit more substantial than what the 43 car just put up. So Fuzzy not clear just yet to start chasing down Sam GT3. Has to keep at least one eye on the mirrors. Woohoo Man creeping closer and closer. A big corkscrew here could really be the determining factor. And oh, he goes for a big line through there. Creeps in within 3/10, so shaves off a ton of time, creeping towards the back of that Canadian Post racer. This could be a good moment between them.
One thing I've noticed is some of these drivers are taking a very shallow line into the corkscrew, which is a great defensive line, but it really compromises your lap time and your exit out of that corkscrew.
Yeah, and this is going to give Woohoo Man the opportunity. That number 43 car is getting closer and closer to his chance here. He's going to have one big move if he can make something happen. And just that patience and consistency is going to get him by for the moment. So Fudzy now going to be the one on the back foot. And I guarantee you, Fudzy has no interest in giving that one up easily either. But we're going to take a break from watching these guys for a moment because Speed Bump has gotten back with an attacking range on that Minnesota wild car once more. They're starting to come up closer to some lap traffic ahead. So we'll see just what this battle shakes up to be over these final few laps.
Yeah, and right now, we can just see that dominating performance from Jump Raven right now. We are 20 laps in. He's got a 20-second gap to the car behind. And then Dancy pulling out ahead of Seb by a good 10-second gap as well here. It's all about that traffic management and consistency.
Yeah, and it's going to be very interesting right down to the end there. We've got Brett and Speed Bump trying to battle things out. Woohoo Man and Fudzy still fighting. Fudzy did actually get the position back from Woohoo Man. So Woohoo Man's the one now trying to line that up again as these guys just keep trading positions. Max Yang even starting to creep closer and closer to Scrub in P5. Oh, and as I say that, looks like Scrub may have had a little bit of an incident. And they did through the corkscrew. So that'll give Max Yang P15. Potatoes for Life has a long way to climb, so I don't think they're going to be able to take that position. But it will at least give them some hope as we tune back over to Brett Anderson trying to catch up to speed.
And one thing to think about here is some of those guys went for pretty early pit stops at about the 30-minute mark. Those guys are going to be running very light on fuel at this point and probably looking to get their second pit in.
As I tune over to see Sam, after a little bit of incident with lap traffic, off the pace, gets caught up by the Canadian Post Racer. So now into P11. This three-man battle for P11 is going to start to push them further and further away from Posh in P10, sitting 10 seconds ahead of these guys. But the battle is afoot. Sam GT3 now hot on the heels of Fudzy. Fudzy in his mirrors strays a little bit into the gravel and will lose that precious acceleration. Oh, I was going to say into the corkscrew. Woohoo goes for that late move and unfortunately gets a little bit too close to the rear of the Canadian Post Racer. So we'll now have to regroup and try and get another move on. Meanwhile, the 19 car still has a chance at the Krusty Krab Racer in front, so they'll continue the charge onwards.
So when you're in a position like this, Buggy, you're looking at that top 10, but you see a gap that's about 10 seconds. What are you thinking?
Well, considering there's 10 minutes left, I'm still hammering on, but at this point, it's definitely pray for a miracle territory. And you're hoping that at least one of those racers in the top 10 has some sort of a big spin. With the amount of time separating you, your targets, unfortunately, in Fuzzy's position are going to be Posh, Rev, and Pogo. Any major spin from the three of them could immediately reignite this into a battle for the top 10. So hope is not lost and pressure is on. Speaking of pressure being on, looks like Pogo is going to have to try and work his way through lap traffic at an interesting moment. So if ever there was a time.
Yeah, it looks like he's got quite a bit of trust here in the car behind. He has done quite a few laps at Laguna. I know he is very comfortable around here now. But we do see Spike here drifting a little bit wide, probably not quite aware that there's a car going for the overtake there.
Yeah, and that's where things get hairy, and that's actually put Rev in a pretty good spot now. Within half a second, sees the side-by-side chaos going on, and it's going to try and take a little bit of advantage of it. Almost gets clipped up in the action, but does not. Looks like Speed Bump has a little bit of a brush up with a lapped car, but doesn't lose any additional time. In fact, actually starts to gain some, as Mogo having a few run-ins with Mega Mew, one of the lapped cars.
Yeah, and one thing to note, the lap traffic does not have to jump out of the way. This is not Formula One rules. However, they are not allowed to take a defensive move or a defensive line. They are not
Ooh.
obligated to get out of the way, though.
As that there is a little bit of a spin at the back there. So for those who didn't see it, because it was a little tough to see, there was, I think, who's the lap traffic car in this one? I couldn't see. Megamew. Megamew did go off a little bit and had a brush up with the curb, lost stability, and it happened to be as Mogo was trying to line up the move around. So unfortunately, a couple racers get caught up in that one. Brett Anderson, Mogo, and Speed Bump. Oh, as Brett again getting caught with a little instability there from Megamew, who honestly is able to cut the corner and rejoin. So might have actually saved him a second or two on the overall lap there. We'll have to go back and watch the footage.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything inherently bad about what happened. I think that there was just some speed differences and a brush in with the gravel. Unfortunately, Megamew and Brett got caught up in that, gapping the cars ahead a little bit. I haven't seen drivers dipping back into the pits yet, but I haven't been keeping too close of an eye on there.
No,
I do see
not yet.
King is in the pit right now, according to my timings, but it looks like it may have been wrong here.
Yeah, he may have just had like a brush in with pit row or something. We've seen racers spun out in that spot before. So it's certainly possible that that may have popped up. At this stage, I know a lot of these guys are wondering if they can make it to the end.
Yeah, especially with depending on where Jump Raven's final lap ends. I think that I estimated roughly 27 laps for the duration of this race. But if my estimated average lap time on a normal fuel load was off, I think I said 1.8, it's definitely possible it's closer to 1.6 liters per lap. This could definitely close down to a 1 lap without the major fuel saving needed.
Yeah, this is going to be certainly interesting. I mean, at this point in the race, usually all the gaps are pretty solid, but right now we still have speed bumps trying to close into Seb Bellew, 3.2 seconds separating them. Left sync handle only 2 seconds away from Brett Anderson. Rev 174 almost within a second of Pogo. I mean, Woohoo and Fudzy both within a few seconds of Sam. It's just up and down the grid. Everybody still looking for their chances. We'll jump back a little bit further. Wasey, 4 seconds to go to Megamew, but Megamew's about to have some lap traffic trying to get by, and this could make things a little bit more interesting for him. And possibly give Wasey a hand if Wasey can keep their lap clean. We do see Jump Raven still consistently putting up those 137s, just an incredible pace to hold with 25 laps under the belt at this point. We are going to jump over to left sync handle, who's trying to line up that move on Brett Anderson. We see Rev 74 looking for the same. As always, two racers looking to pass each other at the exact same moment, because why not? And Scrub has found himself in position as well. So this is going to be where a few of these positions are decided here over this next lap or so. Might not be right down to the line for everybody, but this is the big moment. Wherever it comes, you have to take it at this stage. You've got a lapped car helping you out if you're left sync handle. It looks like Muse pulled to the side just a little bit. And Brett will try and get by. And, ooh, left sync handle will slip by. A little bit of shake in the confidence, though, and that will allow Brett to slip away just a little bit. Potatoes for Life does pull into the pits. It looks like they did have to go for the two-stop strategy. Woohoo Man trying to beat out Fudzy here, who might be fuel saving at this stage. Taking a look at their lap times. So they're about a second off the pace. They both are. Ooh, as Woohoo with a little bit of a wiggle manages to hang on. That'll cost him some acceleration, but with the way these guys are very clearly fuel saving, if you listen to those engines, Wow, they are committed.
Yeah, they're gonna need at least 2 more laps of fuel here. Because Jump Raven is on lap 26. He's just started. He's putting up 137. So there's gonna be at least 2 minutes or 2 more laps of this race
Yeah.
at 28 laps for a final time here.
Yeah, I mean, Fudzy is going for a bold strategy, so 16 seconds separate them and Deadly Daniel. They are now sacrificing, it looks like, I'm going to say about 5 seconds a lap to fuel. Oh my God, it is 8 seconds a lap to fuel saving. So they're banking on there being only 2 laps left. So we're going to tune into that one in just a little bit. Rev174's got some lap traffic on his behind. That's going to be Potatoes for Life, who is fair to unlap himself if he keeps the pace. So that's a little bit of added pressure for Rev174, who's still trying to catch up to Pogo. You do see glimpses of that Aerosol Posh Racer just a moment or two behind, close enough to take advantage of a spin like that. And Posh goes by into P9 down the entrance into the last straightaway here.
Yeah, we see Jump Raven just getting down into the final corner here with 28 seconds left. Now, it is entirely up to Jump Raven right now with that gap behind of 30 seconds. He could park up and there could be one last lap. But looking at this, it looks like he's going to push it. They're going to have one more lap to go.
Yeah, he's definitely going to make it all the way around. So they've got one final lap here. That's going to be really tricky for some of these guys who are already working on fuel saving. I'm trying to look around to see who's got some final lap chances. It's going to be Megamew as one of them. A little bit of contact with Dan Greelash and Aaron K. A little further back in the grid. It doesn't seem like... sorry.
I was just going to say, looking at how some of these times are slipping away. Ooh.
We unfortunately go bowling. That's going to be a dangerous rejoin for Megamew. Oh, and it causes contact with Pausch, who's in a big battle for P9. So that is going to be kind of interfering a little bit with the big battle at hand. At this stage, these guys are just trying to get to the finish line, and it looks like that 72 car is having a tough time getting around the 58. We'll stick with them to the end here because Potatoes for Life now trying to take advantage and slip through with Pausch, but it won't be as everybody comes towards the final. Oh, this is actually just starting their final lap.
Yeah, this is just starting their final lap. Jump Raven is just now coming around the final corner to end his session here.
Yeah, and it looks like Potatoes for Life gonna get a good run in off of that awkward moment there. I'm not entirely positive what we ended up seeing. I do see Sam GT3 going to pit, so possibly wasn't able to stretch out for as long of a lap as they were hoping. Mogo now looks like has to teleport or head into pits as well, ends up running out of fuel. So a couple of these guys going for the brave fuel option, not able to make it happen.
Looks like Mogo is going to cross the start-finish line in the pits, but it didn't count for his lap here.
Yeah, so he'll have to go out and finish. Potatoes for Life and Megamew, the racers taking it down to the end here. We know that there's a couple of other battles that have been taking place, and we'll definitely pay attention to them. Your winner, Jump Raven, and Sabellu. Oh, and a little bit of a spin there from Potatoes for Life. Did not work out. We head over to Fudzy, who finds himself on the side of the road. That was one of the cars that we did pass earlier. It looks like he did run out of fuel himself, as a few other racers fall to that unfortunate situation as we watch a few other guys head across the grim.
Oh, Dancy in the chat saying he didn't fuel save enough. He had to do a splash and dash, which allowed Seb to get up into that P2 for the finish. Woohoo creeps into P9, and Mogo falls all the way back to P10 from his fight that he was having for that top 5 position. Mogo stopping and give somebody a push across the line here. Looks like
Nice little Lightning McQueen moment. Did he make it? I can't see. I know they got to go. They got to go a little farther.
The finish line is a little further up.
It looks like Mogo is not going to be able to push them all the way across the line. I thought they would.
I think he wanted to hit his finish mark first here.
Oh, okay, and then he's heading back to do so. Because Rev 174 is getting closer and closer to the end, I think, and they wanted to be there.
Well, I'd say that was a pretty solid race here. We have 27 racers start. We did have 2 DNFs tonight, but 25 of the racers did manage to finish it.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely pretty solid.
Overtime ends a little bit early.
As a few racers aren't able to cross, but it was definitely a pretty solid week 1. We saw chaos. We saw great wheel-to-wheel action and strategy coming down to the end, but a great turnout and performance for week 1. And definitely makes me excited for the rest of the season.
Yeah, this was a very fun race to watch. I'm actually going to go through and set that race overtime to a little bit longer since they are all 45-minute races, just so we don't run into this in the future events here.
Alrighty. Well, for everybody else, we will catch you guys for the next time. And we appreciate